Here's a list of horror movies that are just physically beautiful to look at. The first thing that comes to mind when I was asked this was Dario Argento's Suspiria. His use of color in this movie and the set design and the dancing sequences, literally every single frame of this movie is just stunning. Unmatched, unreal, and I would say, again, visually, just the most beautiful piece of horror cinema that there is. Crimson Peak is a movie that I honestly wasn't crazy about. It was good, it was fine, but it's not one of my favorites. But this is another one, like the set design, the layout. Del Toro absolutely killed it. This movie is so physically beautiful to look at. A movie that I quite frankly did not like at all and might go as far as to say that I hated. A movie that I actually turned off and did not finish, which I don't do. I don't do that. And the only reason I made it about halfway through this movie was because of how pretty it was. The costume design, the main character, this whole tea room scene gave me so much serotonin because of how gorgeous it was. And just because I didn't like it did not mean it's not for everybody. I know a lot of people who really did love this movie. It's just not for me. Let's keep on the theme of movies that I didn't like. You guys have heard me talk so much shit about A24 and especially Ari Aster, but the one thing that I have to give him is his cinematography is fucking impeccable. Midsummer, again, another movie that I didn't like, but the imagery in this movie and the fact that it was all shot in broad daylight. And that's the one thing I loved about this movie, honestly, is because you're supposed to be safe in the daytime, but there's no safety here. And again, the lighting, the coloring, everything. And while I didn't enjoy the movie itself, it was beautiful to watch. And same thing with Hereditary. I did like this one a little bit better than Midsummer, but I still am not a fan. But again, Ari Aster absolutely killed it with his camera work in this one. This scene, especially where she's crawling on the wall, fucked me up. The Shining. This is another movie where you guys have probably heard me say I don't necessarily think that this one held up, and I'm not crazy about it. But there's two reasons why I still continue to watch this movie. One is the performances, and two is Stanley Kubrick's directing style. Like everything, the angles, the imagery, the symbolism, everything about his cinematography. And the same thing goes for Doctor Sleep with the way that Mike Flanagan just recreated the overlook from The Shining at the end and how he captured that. And Doctor Sleep also has these really cool, like, upside down camera angles that I just fucking love. I should have talked about this one after I brought up Suspiria because I think this one is gorgeous for similar reasons. The use of color in Last Night of Soho is so stunning and also I think just contributes to the storytelling. And it's so cool that somebody was able to do that. And I love the whole back and forth between the two main characters and when she's witnessing her and how that's captured on camera. I think anything that Jordan Peele has done is absolutely beautiful to look at, and I think that's due to his camera ability, but also the actors. I love these close-up shots that Jordan does of the characters crying. And most iconically, I think, is Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out. Like, it's so simple, but it just captures so much emotion. Even the 2021 Candyman, even though Jordan Peele did not direct this one, you can definitely still see his influence with the way it was shot. And this is another one like Suspiria and Last Night in Soho. I just love the use of color in it. It's more subtle, but it's just so beautiful. I think this comment was actually left on a video I did where I said that Last House on the Left was a like beautiful movie with its cinematography. There's a scene in this movie where they're just like doing a pan and they film this like red barn and then they come out and Mary's next to it. And I don't know why, it's just always stuck out in my head for being such a beautiful scene. And the scene where she jumps in the lake and starts swimming, like everything about this movie is perfect to me. I wanted to mention The Conjuring and really a lot of stuff that James Wan has done, again, because of the camera angles that he uses. Like, there's a scene where one of the sisters is looking under the bed, and instead of just, like, panning down, it, like, the camera flips with her, and I think that is just such an interesting angle and really just puts you in with the character. And finally, a lot of people might disagree with me on this one, but one of my favorites, as you all know, Martyrs. This is a movie where the imagery to me is just so beautiful and like the most brutal and violent things are happening. But to me, it's like, it doesn't even matter because it's just shot so well.